Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Fine, Totally Fine, a Japanese comedy-drama hybrid from 2008. This film is essentially about three main characters. Teruo, played by Yosiyosi Arakawa, is 29 years old and works as a part-time landscaper. He currently lives with his father, who runs a second-hand bookstore, but Teruo's real passion lies in scaring the crap out of people. So he continually constructs scare tactics that leave people shaking in their boots. Whether it's gory props, jump scares, or zombie makeup, he takes great pleasure in spooking other people and hopes to one day build his own haunted house attraction. Our second main character is Hisanobu, played by Yoshinori Okada, who is Teruo's best friend. Now, this guy has more of a stable job as a worker at a hospital, but he feels very unsatisfied with his life accomplishments, especially because he is also approaching 30 years of age. And then finally, we have Akari, played by Yoshino Kimura, a mysterious girl who has an interest in spying on a homeless woman who is an artist and lives by the shore of a nearby river. So, Akari's passion is painting, but with such an unusual hobby in terms of kind of spying on homeless people, this quirky gal has her own problems to overcome. She's very introverted, klutzy, and has difficulty holding a job for very long. So the fate of these three characters converge within the bookstore. So right from the start, I'm going to warn you about something. I enjoy this film very much, but it's not for everyone. This is because Fine, Totally Fine is an extremely quirky movie that revolves around some pretty oddball characters. I know some people out there like to seek out, wacky Japanese movies every now and then, but this is a different kind of wacky. It's not gleefully over the top, loud, or especially energetic like something like Kamikaze Girls from 2004. This is more laid back in its comedy and its overall delivery in general. It's also lacking in a proper story, choosing instead to focus almost exclusively on the character interaction and the comedy. So if you decide to watch this, be prepared for like a coming-of-age film that contributes a lot of awkward moments of humor that are based on everyday events. But personally, I thought this film was surprisingly charming and heartfelt in its depiction of its protagonists. Each of these characters have a lot of growing up to do, and that aspect was kind of endearing to me as a viewer. I found myself caring for these people and rooting for their happiness, despite the fact that they're, pretty odd. Another nice aspect is how the female lead seemingly becomes a love interest for the other male leads in this film, but it's impossible to tell whether or not it will amount to anything substantial until late in the film. I really enjoyed how the romantic angle kind of played out in this. Comedy also worked well for me. It uses editing cuts that immediately follow the punchlines to the jokes a lot of times, which helps to kind of accentuate the abruptness and awkwardness of the character interaction. So I like that choice by the filmmakers. The jokes are, they basically take advantage of the unusual behavior on display, so I think they're written well. And one of my favorite moments involves an adult magazine and how Akari attempts to resolve an uncomfortable situation with one of the bookstore customers. And kind of the punchline of that joke is pretty entertaining and funny. So in terms of actors, the most recognizable actor in this film for international viewers will probably be Yosiyosi Arakawa, who played alongside Vinnie Jones in Survive Style 5. He was like his translator dude. He was great in that one. He was basically born to play oddball characters, and he was perfectly cast in Fine, Totally Fine. He's very effective in this role. Kimura Yoshino has a large filmography to her credit, which I was kind of surprised at, but most of her roles may not be immediately familiar to most international viewers. Even some of the ones that popped out at me, I remember watching the film, but I don't remember her being like a key component of the film. So I think she's kind of relegated a lot of time to supporting roles. However, she was the supporting actress in Confessions, so you may recognize her from that one. But in my opinion, Fine, Totally Fine is arguably the best performance that I have seen from her. She's really good in this. And as for Okada Yoshinori, He's also not particularly recognizable, I don't think, but you may remember him as the fashion designer in Kamikaze Girls. He's probably the most normal main character in Fine, Totally Fine, which kind of helps to anchor the film by playing against the other two nutcases. So, in summary, I do recommend Fine, Totally Fine if you're in the mood for like a relatively low-key, quirky film that's still kind of fun to watch. It's currently available on Region 2 DVD with English subtitles, and that's the UK release. And as always, I'll see you next time.